everybody, welcome back. It's another prep video, prep for a trip that I'm about to embark on. I just got an email this morning reminding me that I owe a balance for my trip coming up in July to the Kendjam Lodge. Never been there, but it's definitely been on the radar for a while, and yeah, 60 days until the trip, so it's real now. I've been a little bit crazy at my vice and a little bit crazy on social media preparing for this trip, and so I'm going to go over today. This is a fly fishing only trip, so I've been making a ton of flies and doing a ton of research and talking to a ton of people because I want to be prepared for this trip as best as I can. In my research, it's been a little bit interesting, a little bit of inconsistency in information, but I tried to talk to people who have gone there, tried to talk to people who have worked there, and I also talked to people who work for Untamed Angling, which owns Kendjam. So, and I've got a little bit of inconsistent information, but I'm interpreting that in the best way I know how, and trying to find some similarities in there and see what I can do in preparation to make these flies. Most of the people almost everyone that I've talked to has been extremely helpful and really willing to give information. I did encounter one person who kind of said, I don't share this information unless you join one of my paid groups or something. So I thought that was a little odd, but whatever, that was their choice. So other than that, everyone else has been really generous with giving information on gear and flies. So I'm going to go over my fly boxes, what I'm bringing, what I've made, and of course, like I did on my last trip to Brazil, when I get back, we'll do a review. We'll see what worked and what didn't. I've been watching all the videos on YouTube, and of course, I'm excited every day. I think every day is going to be amazing, but it's fishing, so I'm prepared for the other possible outcome. Not every day is going to be a banner day. There's probably going to be some difficult days, and yeah, whatever comes, I'll be happy with. And anyway, really looking forward to it. So I'm going to kind of break it down by how the company breaks it down, and that's pretty much by species. So I'm going to go over the flies for the smaller fish and kind of work my way up to the bigger fish. So, and then at the end, I'll do a couple miscellaneous things that I'm bringing as well. We'll see if we'll put those to use. So, on the smaller side is a couple different species of what they call pacus, but they're around like a small dish-size fish, and they eat a wide variety of things. But the main thing I believe that they're caught on is these hoppers and terrestrials. So I've got a variety of hoppers here, and from what I understand, size 8 is about the average hook size, maybe up to 6, maybe down to 10. The two main patterns that were recommended is the Fat Albert and also the Chernobyl ant. Okay, so I made a lot of these in various sizes and colors, 6, 8s, and 10s. But another person that I spoke to said you definitely want the greens and the yellows. So yeah, I have a lot of lime green, yellow legs, lime green, dark green. So Chernobyl ant and Fat Albert. And also I made some other hoppers too, just to kind of mix it up. I think this is a Moorish hopper. Foam bodies, rubber legs, that's the general idea of it. This one kind of look a little hopper popper. It's got a hopper body, but a popper head. So I saw some of those on some of the videos from the company. So I'm going to try that too. But yeah, for a variety of colors, I made a variety of colors to cover everything. So I got blacks, reds, tans, but primarily I think the color I focused on the most was green, lime green, and yellow. I also heard that there was some kind of flower there that's a yellow flower that these fish feed on too. So I tried to incorporate yellow as much as I could. So that is for the pacu, and also I'll just segue into the next species, which is a fish called matrincha, which is a silverfish, almost looks like an American shad. To any of my people watching that are from the US, you may know the American shad. kind of resembles that fish, the matrincha. But they do eat these hoppers. Same thing, same kind of patterns, just a little bit larger, size 2 and size 4. But yeah, the yellows and the greens, they will eat those as well. So that kind of covers 2 species. The next thing I want to cover is the poppers, and this is getting into the peacock bass. There's a species of peacock bass in this river which is called the Iriri, I-R-I-R-I. That's the river that Kendjam is on. It's a species that's unique to that river system. I don't think it's found in any other rivers. And they don't get giant. I think we're talking about maybe a 60 centimeter fish would be a pretty big one. So 5 to 8 pounds, I think, is about as big as you're going to find. But I'm going to guess most of them are under 5 pounds, but we'll see. The peacocks, I think they'll probably eat those hoppers too, but what they recommended was the streamers and the poppers. And also there's a fish called a barracuda, which is a long freshwater barracuda kind of fish. So the streamers that I'm going to show you and the poppers that I'm going to show you, and I guess we can even include the wolffish in here too. There's a lot of wolffish in this river. So this next 2 groups of flies, the poppers and the streamers, technically I guess we could say they'll be targeting all 3 of them, depending on the color and the weight and so on. But let's talk about the hoppers first. A couple different styles or patterns that I was recommended. I believe this one is called a slider. So this one's got some layered foam on top and some synthetics in the back. And one thing I was told when making these flies is that be pretty generous with the flash material, and also try to use the synthetics instead of the real bucktail, because these are a lot of toothy fish in this river, and the synthetics will hold up better. So this is like a slider, foam slider. Also a gurgler, which is a popular pattern. Again, this is a darker color, so this would be more for like the wolffish. But I got some foam legs on there as well. Gurglers. This is just a basic foam head popper. Again, a lot of flash and a lot of synthetics on the back. Okay, pretty basic stuff, nothing crazy. Another one that was recommended was the NYAP popper. I think this one, again, this is made of a foam body. Another one I was recommended was a crease fly, and a couple of these crease flies I made with a rattle in it, just like I make my bucktails for the big peacocks. But yeah, again, there's the rattle underneath there. Some UV coating to make this kind of shiny. But yeah, I heard that was a good one too, crease flies. And a lot of different kinds of gurglers. So that's the basic gist on the poppers. Let's talk about the streamers next. All right, the streamers, there's quite a variety in the streamers, and I got a lot of, like I said, some mixed messages when talking to different people. Some people said they've got to be big, like 5 to 7 inches. Other people said don't make anything over 4 inches. I think the consensus was that I want to have the biggest concentration of my streamer flies between, I'll say 3.5 to 4 inches. Okay, the majority of them in that size range. I want to have a couple that are 5 inches plus, and a couple that are 2.5 to 3.5 inches. So they're for different species. But as far as the small ones go, so I made quite a few of these guys. This is about 3 inches, maybe a little bit under 3 inches. These are also for those fish called the matrincha. And peacock bass will eat these too. Barracudas will eat these. They said white. Use a lot of white, maybe some chartreuse, a lot of flash, but if you come only with white flies, you will be well prepared. So I have a bunch in this kind of style, kind of short, that are going to be for probably the matrincha and the peacock bass. And then, in the same kind of idea, this is a white fly with this is some craft fur and a lot of flash, obviously. But this one is probably closer to 4 inches. So this kind of size fly is what I made the most of and I'm bringing the most of. So a lot of white, a lot of chartreuse. This style was recommended with the brush heads and some color, some chartreuse color in the back and flash. But I think you get the idea. Big eyes, a lot of white, a lot of chartreuse. Those are just the traditional streamers. Now, Also on the smaller side for the matrinchas and the peacocks, small clouser minnows, made with synthetics. They said the synthetics are better than bucktails. So I made a lot of these guys around 3 inches, red eyes, white on white, white on chartreuse, things like that. And then again, some larger ones. This is a half and half. And then I made some deceivers as well. Pretty much anywhere you go in the world, you bring white clousers, white half and halves, and white deceivers, I think you'll have success. So I don't think Kendjam is any different in that regard. But yeah, white half and halves and other similar patterns. Yeah, I played around with some things. You know, I did some eyes on some of these brush flies. When I made these streamers, the clouser minnows, the half and halves, and the deceivers, that's the only the only 3 flies that I actually followed like a specific pattern. When I get into making these streamers, it's kind of interesting because I don't really follow any pattern really. Like this thing, I never saw this thing in my life. I just sat at the vise and kind of said, what am I going to make that's going to look interesting? Got some orange ostrich, some brush, some craft fur, and some brush around the head, and some weighted eyes. But never seen this fly in my life. Don't even know if it has an actual name. But a lot of times with the streamers, I'll just sit down at the vise and just start tying. About 20%, 20%, 2.5 to 3.5 inches. About 60%, 3 to 4 inches, and about 20%, about around 5 inches. So that covers a lot of bases there. All right, so we've covered the majority of fish that we're going to be fishing for. There are some vampire fish, Payara, in this river. It's not a primary species to target there, but they are there. So I did a little bit of research on what kind of flies to make for them, and it was kind of a new technique for me. I will just show you. I got basically darker colors. Let's just show you this one. So this is around 7 inches long, I'd say, and this is tied with dark colors. Now, the interesting thing about this I've never made before is the stinger hook, which is attached to the shank. So we've got this rear hook that comes off, also with material tied on it, but that stinger hook hidden in there, giving you about 7 inches approximately from front to back. No weight on this because I'm going to fish a full sinking fly line, but yeah, this is made a couple different colors. Got some green and purple and some black and red, so we'll try them all. Other thing I did with these is I made up, just in case, I heard that if you get into Payara and you don't land the fish, which is common, you know, they jump a lot, they just tear up your material. So I made up a few extra stingers, which can just be replaced onto the hook shank. I kind of made one for each color fly that I made. And again, so I made, you know, these will just hang off the back if needed, if they need to be replaced. But again, this is not a primary target at this lodge. Maybe we'll try from once or twice or 3 times during the week, but it's not gonna, I don't think it's gonna be an everyday thing as far as I know. All right, so we covered almost everything. One last category, I'll call it just small miscellaneous flies. I got some smaller terrestrials for the pacu, so like some small foam beetles, like this kind of thing. I also was told to bring some stonefly imitations. So this is a weighted nymph kind of fly. Now sometimes they fish like a hopper dropper pattern. So you'll fish a big hopper with the stonefly hanging off it, or these fish also eat algae. So I made a couple flies with some. This is really going to be hard to see what this is, but it's an algae clump. It's a piece of moss floating down the river. So it's some green marabou, basically green marabou on a size 8 or 10 hook with some lead weight that would kind of just bounce along the bottom. And I did test this out in an aquarium. It kind of does look like a piece of algae floating down the river. So we'll try that too. They said to have a few of those in your box. I do have some pretty simple, just woolly bugger patterns, some chartreuse and some black. And I was also told to make just some really tiny streamer flies for the pacus. So little white flies. Just got a couple of those. I think they're size 8 or size 10. And then somebody told me about this thing, which I've never fished before, called a booby fly. It's got the 2 floating circles at the top, and also kind of looks like maybe some floating algae. I don't exactly know what, but I'm just going to call that the miscellaneous box. But I think that covers it. So yeah, again, I will do a review video when I return. I'm over prepared. They gave a guideline of how many flies to bring. I brought many more than that because I'm sure if I find a good one, you're going to just want to use that one and make sure you have that type of fly. There's some I'm sure I'll never use, but that's the way these trips go. So yeah, if you're preparing for a trip to Kendjam, I hope this helps. And my next one should help even more based on my experience. But every week is probably different there, so it'll be good to compare once I get back. So thanks for watching. Hope you found it helpful. Any questions, leave them in the comments or hit me up on Instagram. All right, thanks for watching. Bye.